Ladies and gentlemen,
now tuned into the motherfucking greatest.
This is the Hype Reality Podcast.
listen,
Hype-reality.com.
listen, or I'll kill ya.
Hey, welcome to the latest edition of the Hype Reality Podcast. My name is Emilio, a.k.a. Triple D, a.k.a. the Dominican Derek Diegler, along with my co-host,
Ephraim.
Basic-ass Ephraim. And our special guest for this episode is Mr.
Field Mouse. Thank you for having me, guys.
Field Mouse in the house.
Field Mouse in the house. Cool, man. Happy to have you along. Let's get into some shit.
Former Oklahoma Sooners football player Brennan Clay aired his family's dirty laundry via Twitter on Thursday evening and revealed racy text messages between his wife and former teammate Dallas Cowboys player Demarco Murray. Clay then posted this conversation, which shows Demarco asking his wife if he could her in bed. Her response, "If that's where you want to me, then yes."
Let's back up for a second. Like, Phil, like you've been following the story. Like, give us a summation of like what the whole hoopla is about.
All right, so Brennan Clay, he's got a very, very attractive wife. And so he went to the University of Oklahoma, as did Demarco Murray.
Right.
And so Demarco Murray is currently playing for the Cowboys and is just having a breakout year, absolutely killing it. He's had injury problems, but this year he stayed healthy. He's just absolutely tearing the NFL up right now. And so apparently Brennan came across some text messages that his wife was exchanging with Mr. Spray Tan, as Demarco Murray was in her phone. And she was giving Demarco the green light to come and fuck her in their bed.
Literally?
In her and Brennan's bed.
Oh,
And so he found that out and decided to take to Twitter and post the sexting conversation on Twitter and make it public. And so that's kind of where we're at right now.
But why would you even put yourself on blast like that? I think this guy looks even extra lame. It was lame enough that your former teammate at Oklahoma is now banging out your wife, but then you're gonna go and like, I don't even know. It makes this guy look even more cooler. Like, it makes him have even better of a year that he's having like the success on the Cowboys, and he's fucking your girl, and you put these text messages out with him saying this raunchy ass shit. I think you're just losing on all types of fronts.
I don't even know what his stance is too, because like on Thursday night, Demarco destroyed the Chicago Bears. He had 179 yards rushing, a touchdown, and Brennan takes to Twitter again and says, "I ain't gonna lie, but Spray Tan is getting off tonight. LOL." Like, I don't even. What is your stance on this? You're like praising this guy too, like, you know. I understand
like a cock mold on his
yeah,
fucking
like
dresser.
when you see shit like that, you
backtrack or something, but
you kind of feel like, yeah, I can see why your girl left you for a bigger, blacker version of you. Like, you just seem so lame.
Bigger, blacker, more successful.
Yeah, like what kind of shit is that? Like, I don't know. I'm not saying he should have killed this guy, but I would understand.
I see. Okay. Well, I feel it's vaginal. Like, it all depends. You know, it's all about situations.
This is not some girl. This is his wife, and they're trying to fuck in his bed.
It's not like his wife is fighting off
when he's gone,
shit.
trying to chase his dreams.
Are they still together?
They probably are. That guy.
Are they still together? I mean, this guy's got the green light to, like, nope. Obviously he's gonna get off, not to have to do child support, or I don't know if they have kids. Not gonna have to pay alimony at the very least. You got a green light. You're done.
Has infatuated, he seems, with this fucking guy Demarco's cock. I'm pretty sure he wants to eat as much of her pussy as possible so you get a taste of that. It's like ridiculous that I don't know how they dudes crack me the fuck up. But the whole idea of him fighting that guy, I think that's vaginal. I still think that's vaginal.
It's making it public, man. That's just fucking weird. It's just really weird.
She's the one going along with it. Like, so that's where you want to fuck me. But yes, like, this girl is obviously on the fuck. She's the one fucking shit up.
I feel like you have the bar set so low for dudes. And first of all, it's not like just some dude. It's not like another NFL player. Like, they have some form of relationship. They used to play together at Oklahoma, right?
At Oklahoma.
Yeah.
I don't know if they're the same year, but obviously
I think
the alumni meetings are
left
gonna be
like-
awkward.
There wasn't a fucking.
We can fact check that. I don't know if they're the same backfield, but they're
hitting
that same backfield.
Like 2 years before him, whatever.
Yeah.
So there's that, and there's also that's this dude's wife, man. Like, there's There's a few things in this world that are worth dying and killing for, in my opinion. I'm
But his wife is fucking him back. Like, it's not like she's like, I don't get that shit because she's the one doing the most wrong.
Oh God.
That's how I feel about the situation. Like, I feel like she's the one really doing wrong. She's fucking this guy. Like, I would be mad at her. Like, hey, we're supposed to be together. You're supposed to respect me, you bitch. Like, that guy is just doing what single dudes do. He's just being a man.
Single. I mean, well,
I don't know what the fuck like his status is, but he's doing what dudes do. If that girl is waving that twat at you, you're gonna fuck that girl. That's just what's gonna happen.
I think there are principles and there are consequences for certain violations. The way if I was him, like the way I would approach Demarco is not the same way I'm gonna approach my wife. Yes, she is definitely in the wrong. You're in a relationship with her, but this dude's still gotta get that work, man. Like when I see
the minute
you,
he says something slick, like, and she
Nah,
told me my
man.
shit is bigger, that's when you start fisticuffs. I understand that if you escalate it, but you're like, hey man, talk to your girl, check your girl, whatever the case is. I don't care how you code it, but like she's the one that has the fucking sworn oath. Like she's the one that's supposed to respect these values and shit. That guy is just doing what he does, and obviously he was doing it pretty goddamn well.
That's why I fucked your bitch, you fat motherfucker. West side, bad boy killers.
God.
You know, honestly, Demarco looks really cool in this entire situation.
Yeah, Demarco
He's
seems really cool.
He sounds like a pretty fucking awesome dude. Like
you have now you have this setup like in that triangle. You have Demarco looking like a king.
he's like not even talking about it. Like
Yeah,
just
you
like
have-
going out killing the Bears on Thursday night. Like whatever.
You have her looking like a total slut, and then you have that guy looking like a total vagina. Like, man, what a spectrum you have.
It'd be like I don't even remember that girl.
Say, for example, let's go field on this one. If you found out your girl was cheating, what would be the first thing? Say you came across this fucking phone, this text message, with the alias spray tan of all fucking things. How would you react? What would your first instinct? What would it be?
At this point, I'd say goodbye. Nope. Not gonna. I wouldn't tell anyone. I wouldn't tell my friends and family. I'd say it didn't work out.
damn, you
know.
guys are better than me. Like
Yeah.
I don't know
What am I gonna like fucking hunt the guy down and beat his ass? You know, if he was readily accessible, if I found out and he was right there, I'd probably beat his ass. Unless he's Demarco Murray. And then I'd be like, fuck you. I'm leaving. Goddamn, I'm not gonna win this fight. But
I would have given one of them fucking Liam Nielsen phone calls.
I will look for you. I will find you. And I will kill you.
I mean, I definitely wouldn't put myself on blast like that. I think people like live way too openly and too much for social media. Like who needed to know this other than like
That was
your
a
lawyer
total
and
personal
maybe your
matter.
family?
That should have
Yeah.
been within that triangle.
So like, okay, so what would be your response? Like, if you seen this dude that you knew was fucking your wife, let's not even like nothing like a girlfriend, your fucking wife.
Right.
You saw him in the mall, and it's just y'all two, and you had the opportunity to square up. You're just gonna let that dude pass by unless he says something to you? Like, I don't know.
And then have the chance of him whooping my ass too? Like, what the fuck? Like,
well, here's the other thing. If they were friends, that's one thing. But like, this is what I don't understand about cheating: is guys getting mad at the other guy more so than the girl. If you're a single man, if DeMarco's a single man, and he has an opportunity to have sex with that chick who is hot as hell, is it not her fault? Who is going to be blaming DeMarco Murray in this situation?
I don't know, Jesus. That's his fucking wife, man. He's like I don't
see Jesus tweeting right now. Jesus has not spoken up about this
Jesus
situation.
must be body lotion.
Man, there's like there's got to be certain levels of respect, man. Like, I mean, I hate to throw out the word guy code. I think it's just kind of lame. And I don't
If
even
they were
think- I don't think
teammates,
that
that's
shit
one thing. Especially
think
because
that-
like football players honor that shit like a lot. Like
Yeah.
the sanctuary of the locker room.
Camaraderie.
If that's the thing, again, I saw maybe he was a freshman and DeMarco was the senior at the time.
Right.
But they're going to the same practices and meeting rooms and shit. So in that defense, yeah, DeMarco's fucked up. But from the standpoint of we blame the other guy, not the girl.
I think also it's also that you're like leveling. You're putting the bar so low for dudes. Like, oh, guys just gonna fuck no matter what. I don't care if it's your mother, sister, your wife. Like, there should be no bounds for this shit. Like, there should be no consequences. Like, I think that's bullshit. I think.
Do you know any guys, Ephraim?
Yeah, I know some guys. Bitch, I'm a guy. Like, I know what the fuck is up.
He is a guy.
I know how tempting this shit could be. I know like it could be hard to crack through that ego of someone like DeMarco to say, hey, this fine, piece of white pussy right here is off limits for you. that can be hard to hear.
It obviously is not, because she was fucking him. Like, it's not. That's the argument. Like, that's what I'm trying to say. Like,
it goes both ways, but like I'm saying, but you guys are saying, oh, like all this shit falls on the girl's shoulders, but it takes two to tango.
I'm just saying it falls. It typically falls more on the other guy. Like, I'm gonna beat his ass. Fuck that guy. When it's like, if you were a single guy in that situation, and a hot ass girl came up to you, and
she's the one doing
showed
wrong.
no inhibitions.
Well, I guess we're also assuming that
I think it's the relationship.
We're also assuming like you're assuming initial parts of like the cheating, that she's the one that pursued Demarco, which we don't necessarily know. I would think I'm more inclined that Demarco saw this bitch walking around the locker room and he said, yeah, I'm gonna get that. I don't care who this guy is. Fuck this dude. I don't think this girl necessarily, maybe it's just me, and then, obviously I don't have proof for this shit either, but I don't necessarily think that she sought Demarco out of all people. I think he saw this chick and he knew what he had and knew what this guy didn't have, and he fucking capitalized. And I'm not saying I would stay with this chick either. Like, chick cheat on me, especially at this point in my life, like, no, fuck it. I'm on to the next one. But when I see that dude, even if it's fucking Demarco Murray, somehow, some way, you're going to catch these hands, bro. Like, that's just how it is. Like, I don't know.
I just hope you don't get that double L, man, because if she's fucking and sucking him and then he whoops your ass too, how do you go home to fucking... How do you go home with that? Like,
you go home to your cheating wife.
Yeah, exactly. He's like,
you go home to your cheating wife.
What the fuck happened to your eye? I don't want to fucking talk about it right now. Anyhow, I think I know what happened, and I'm going to go suck his dick right now. But I'll be back to kiss you in the mouth afterwards.
No, she wouldn't be my wife anymore, period. But, like, I would rather take that L in a fist fight than to be somewhere listening to Chris Brown, these hoes ain't loyal, to make myself feel better. Nah.
I think the whole thing is just like she's fucking the one doing the wrong. But nonetheless, like, if you...
They're both wrong. They're both wrong. In this situation, again,
Demarco is not in a committed relationship, though. She's she's
She's
married to this man.
Values.
She is married to this man.
Everyone has these values. Everyone wants to be. Everyone that wants to be married, and everyone doesn't want their wife to be fucked by Demarco Murray.
No.
Why is that?
Why not?
Is that controversial?
No.
Like,
no.
What?
No, what we're
especially
saying.
Demarco Murray.
What we're saying. I don't want my wife fucked by anybody.
No.
And I don't want my wife fucking anybody. Like, that's my argument. I'll stick to that. Like, man.
Babe, please don't fuck DeMarco Murray. I'm gonna put that out there right now.
And don't fuck nobody else's wife.
Yeah.
Man. Please.
Stop DeMarco.
This guy's a
home wrecker.
What's
no
that
morals.
guy's name?
Home wrecker. Record breaker.
Get off that BBC. But
and he's killing it though.
God. DeMarco's cool.
DeMarco's killing it.
Gotta find yourself the right one, fellas, man.
Sportsman of the year.
Don't get on that chick that's gonna hop off to the guy that's the bigger, better version of you.
Like, if you've attended the University of Oklahoma, watch your back too.
Oh God.
Tell your girlfriends to watch it back.
Marco will watch that back.
DeMarco, if you don't watch that back, DeMarco will watch that back.
Oh God. Okay. So,
all right.
But let it be known, if you do DeMarco Murray sleep with E-Friend's wife, he will put hands on your face.
What you think all the guns is for?
What you think all the guns is for? All-purpose war got the Rockwellers by the door.
Don't mess with a man's family. That's all I gotta say.
Jesus Christ. They have kids. Did we ever talk about the kids?
I think she might have a kid.
Oh, she had kids before him, right?
Yeah, she has two kids, yeah.
All right, so.
Another reminder.
Damn, you look such a lame man. Oh,
another
You're
reminder.
out there taking care of this like thought with her two kids while she's fucking DeMarco Murray. Oh, God.
Can you imagine like when DeMarco comes into the room, they like call him dad too? Like Brennan's married to that guy.
Fuck
your wife in your own bed. Oh, man. How can you not want to kill this guy? Like, I don't understand how you guys to be so cool with this shit.
It's not my wife. I don't give a fuck.
Brennan Clay, you low thread count motherfucker. DeMarco's got the high thread count.
I don't give a shit.
Grand jury has declined to indict an officer in the death of Eric Garner.
Protesters have gathered in Washington following a no indictment decision by a grand jury in the death of Eric Garner.
This one came as a surprise to me. I mean, I know a lot of people were kind of split on the Mike Brown thing for different reasons, and that's fine. I mean, obviously there was mixed testimony and that and the third, but I feel like a lot of people, especially here in New York, felt as though the Eric Garner indictment was a sure thing. And to our surprise, not so much. And a lot of people were pretty pissed. A lot of protests, and a lot of people that you wouldn't even think to be interested or commenting on this kind of story, I'm starting to find in my own small social network are getting pretty vocal about it.
It's a nice little salt and pepper movement they got going out there. It's pretty speckled here and there. But it's just like they can take that whole little body cam thing and throw that shit in the trash can because that was clear as day. And the dude who recorded it is the only one being indicted.
Ramsey Orta recorded the arrest of Eric Garner on his cell phone, but now Orta is in trouble with the law. He was arrested Saturday night as he was leaving this Staten Island hotel. Cops say he had a gun, and they say they saw him slip it into the waistband of a 17-year-old girl he was walking with.
Phil, what do you think about this? What are your thoughts?
I feel like seeing as
Field is
how they
white.
had the entire event like recorded from like start to finish, especially like the Ferguson, as Ephraim mentioned earlier, you had some inconsistency with the testimony, but I feel like you had, as the NYPD stated, that was an illegal chokehold.
But like it's a thing though, like when the news first hit, it was like, yeah, this is a legal chokehold. Now it's like, technically it's not illegal, it's just kind of frowned upon.
Yeah.
Now I'm just like, these guys are just making the rules as they go.
Yeah,
they're just.
It was fucking night and day. You had one guy, large, black, and male, and then you had like 4 or 5 little Italian dudes trying to tame this elephant, and one of them got on his back and put a fucking chokehold on him, and the guy was calling for like any kind of mercy. The dude was saying, I can't breathe.
I can't breathe.
And I'm assuming that must have been like hood for like, if you let go of me, I'm gonna kill you, so squeeze tighter or something. I don't know what the fuck.
Yeah, I wonder what he could have said that they could have been any more clear. Like, please don't kill me right now. I don't know. It was pretty.
I have a family.
Yeah, it was pretty bad.
I think it's him having, he had asthma, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and he wasn't in the best of shape, but either way,
That's
it's
what
an
they were
illegal
saying. They
it's
were
an
saying.
illegal chokehold though. It's an illegal chokehold. And like so you have strangulation and choking, like there's different definitions
report.
for that, but
The blame goes on everything but the guy that choked this dude out. It's like, oh, he was so big, he resisted arrest.
Yeah.
He was fat, he was out of shape. So that's who's at fault. Like, no, I think the person at fault was the person that choked him out, and I think we had a clear opportunity to make an example out of it.
I think that definitely some social issues could have been quelled, or the flames kind of pacified if you had the wiffle ball bat, you had everything lined up, you had a clear home run right here. You could kind of quell some shit if you had this entire event that was captured on camera. You make an example out of one cop in the busiest city, and it didn't happen. But
it wasn't really the chokehold that killed him. It was his diabetes and his fucking body fat mass and all these fucking things, asthma, blah blah. If he had a better diet, he would have lasted longer. And weird shit's like, you choked the man out. Anybody, it was only a matter of time. Like maybe his fat big ass died a little faster than others, but you didn't look like you were getting up anytime soon. That guy held on for dear life.
My favorite was like, oh, if he couldn't breathe, how could he say he couldn't breathe? Like, that's like, I've heard that a couple times.
That is the most devilistic shit I've ever heard.
It's a band of brothers. I think like to take the scope a little larger, it's I feel like police officers right now feel like they're untouchable in the sense that it's a band of brothers. You've got the DA's got your back. All these people have your back. Like these protests in New York that happened the past couple days, they're whipping out the LRAD, which is this long-range acoustic device that shoots, sonic beams at these people.
Holy shit.
Pass it through.
Wait, what? What are you talking
You
about?
didn't read about this shit?
What the
Like some
fuck?
like Marvel Comics shit.
Yeah, they did it last night. They shoot in small bursts, but it shoots like sonic waves that you pass the pain the threshold of pain. Either way, it's like you have these toys, like the Ferguson thing kind of opened the light to like these tanks that were rolling up. Just to play devil's advocate with all this stuff that's going on right now.
This is why he's on the show.
Yeah, me as a white man, I obviously cannot empathize with the situation as like a black man in the United States right now, especially with your relationship with like police officers. But just play devil's advocate, you're never gonna win an argument with a cop just for the simple fact that they've got a chip on their shoulder. They always feel like they're right. They feel like they're enforcers, and it fucking sucks. But you look at a guy who had his arms up, saying he can't even breathe, and he ends up dying, and the guy gets off.
That's the thing. Like, I don't necessarily mind and I understand the chip on the shoulder, but I think the most frustrating part for a lot of people in this conversation dealing with, police brutality is like the police and the people that, back these police officers no matter what can never admit to this chip on their shoulder. They can never admit that when a police officer, no matter who they are, what color they are, when they encounter a big black person in the projects or a little 12-year-old in Ohio, or a black guy in Staten Island, like they are more alert and more aware and their sense of more heightened. Like the way that they treat and the way that they perceive them as a threat is totally different. But under the guise of the law, we're all supposed to be equal. So they're never gonna admit that. Oh yeah, when I see this, I treat everyone the same. Whatever. Like no, when you see this dude, like you have a certain things click in your head. And you start reverting back to that training. And like,
it's like the difference between if I saw a rabbit in the wild and I saw a fucking lion. I'm gonna act a different way.
Size matters, man.
Yeah, I'm gonna act a different way.
Size matters and colors matters. Yeah, it's like when back in the day, like in TRO, when Carson used to have like a hip hop guest on there, and he'd be like, yo, what's up, Busta Rhymes, blah blah blah. But like when he has like when he had Justin Timberlake on there, he starts to be more calm, like. All that stuff, like, and it's so tacit and it's so like you don't even think about it. And so again, I get it. Like these police officers, a lot of them, they just want to go home to their families. They're not going out there and saying like, oh, let me murder some black children. Like they want to do their job, and they're exposed to the worst of humanity. I can only imagine the crazy shit. I see crazy shit all the time, like just going home on a night shift, in New York City. Imagine being thrown into that crazy shit constantly and seeing the worst in humanity from all spectrums. Like, it's going to do something to your brain. It's going to do something how you perceive people. And I think that's when people get frustrated. It's like, let's at least start from that point. Let's at least admit that, and we can fix it.
If they admitted that, like if they were just like, yeah, man, I'm going to tell you right now, I turn it up when I see black people, would you be happier with that? Like, I'm not sure if that would make it any different.
It'd be happier, but it definitely would be way more refreshing than to have the same argument that we're having over and over, where we, like, as a community now, it's like at the point where black, white, whoever, everyone's saying, hey, man, look at these statistics. Look at, like, these stops that you guys are making, and look at whatever. Like, look how color and race has played a factor in this. And they're just going, nope, no, nothing to do with color. It's he had a hoodie on. He made some sudden movements. He was so big or whatever. Like, no, I'm not saying it's gonna be perfect, and like, I'm not saying that's right either to perceive that, but if you at least be honest and at least admit that, like, people are human. I have prejudices. We all have prejudices, and when you're put in a seat of power and you're meant to be this authority figure, that can be overlooked, but we have to be honest about what we're dealing with, and from there we can actually come with a solution.
Well, it's like, I grew up in Atlanta, and one of the big things about Atlanta is, after schools got integrated in the 60s or, during civil rights, once they integrated the schools, the white people don't want to go to the integrated schools. So they moved out to the suburbs. That's why there's so many damn suburbs in Atlanta. They keep moving farther and farther out from the center of the city, and you take the tax revenue away from the schools and the inner cities, and that's where the black people are. And so essentially you've created this whole situation where, you have the cycle. You have, it's harder to, these kids are not getting the same education as the white people in the suburbs. Therefore, they're not getting, the better jobs. Therefore,
not making those connections either.
Not making the connections, which is one of the most important parts. Because, you hear people who, like, have some, I was poli-sci, but I had good connections, and therefore I got an industry and television and all that. But I think hopefully from this situation that we're going through right now, where it's actually very clear that, black males are being targeted by police officers, I think that people are realizing and looking at it from scope, and hand in hand, we can learn that, there's a fucked up issue, and maybe, police cameras or something, hopefully something comes out of this situation.
It is incumbent upon all of us as Americans, regardless of race, region, faith, that we recognize this is an American problem and not just a black problem or a brown problem or a Native American problem. This is an American problem. When anybody in this country is not being treated equally under the law, that's a problem.
Be fucking human. Like, these people lost their fucking father, their husband, their uncle. Like, this should be like a human matter. Like, that should not be cool regardless of how big or black he was. Like, it shouldn't matter. It's just a human thing. Like, these people are going to Christmas, their first Christmas, without their fucking father or husband or whatever. Like, it's fucking horrible. And the fact that all of those cops were there and nobody stopped that shit, like somebody should have planted a boot on that little Italian guy's face. But no, they're like, "Yep, we got this under control. Don't worry, stand back and just let this fucking dude die."
You know the thing is almost more terrifying for them to like you hear about this shit like cops snitching on like other cops.
Oh,
it's almost more terrifying to like someone in your industry as a police officer to like be the weak link or be like the snitch or whatever. Than to actually stand up for like.
No one wants to be that Ethan Hawke in Training Day.
No,
that's the real.
Ethan Hawke got fucked up in the movie a couple
Nobody
times.
wants to be Ethan Hawke in Training Day.
That's the real stop snitching movement, or whatever. They want to talk about that shit happening in like minority communities about like them not want to tell on each other when committing crimes. That shit applies double to police officers, but.
It's still.
That shit's crazy.
I can't win the argument, and I won't mount the argument. But I still like when people say. Or when I hear, like, on the news or whatever the case is, Fox News, CNN, whatever, that this is, like, more than just a black-white issue, like it's a fucking police issue, I am starting to tilt a little bit towards that. If it wasn't for everybody that dies and these police issues happen to be black.
Now, recently, Sony Pictures was the victim of a major hacking that included email as well as countless sensitive files, including unreleased films. While it remains unclear as to who is behind these attacks, there are signs pointing to North Korea.
Sony had a bunch of their shit hacked, and it seems like the big fuck yous of all people, the name that I keep seeing is Adam Sandler.
A lot of these people at Sony, and they kind of view him as dead weight, and I don't totally agree, but I can see where you're coming from.
It's really hard to argue against that. Like, he is a star. Like,
right.
But that star is about to fucking, like, he only has so many shit movies left in him. They have been cranking him out, though. Like, he still has enough name to bring his family and other people that still believe that he's going to have. They want to give him another chance. They want him to, God, please, just one more Happy Gilmore.
To make a sports analogy,
go for it.
It's like the Atlanta Hawks are always the 8 seed. They never get, they never get a top draft pick.
Hawks.
They're always middle ground. They're doing just good enough. Adam Sandler's just good enough to not get fired or not, keeps getting movies made, but
probably feel like it's similar to what happened like in the music industry, like especially particularly in hip hop. Like a lot of these rappers that came about in the golden age and were selling like, having these platinum albums when albums and shit mattered and they were selling. Their contracts and the money they were making justified that, and they were getting a certain amount of bank. But now that the album sales are declining, and they're still a name, they're still technically a star. But they're not pulling in that same amount of weight. So the powers that be are going to start looking around like, hey, why are we paying this motherfucker all this money?
Right.
And his product is shit now. Like, we should do some readjustments. And I kind of feel that's kind of what Sony is at with Adam Sandler with all the stuff that came out.
You see that a lot, though. A lot of these, like age stars or whatever. Like, you had, like, Johnny Depp a couple years ago. He was, like, the highest paid star, and his movies fucking bombed.
Right.
Like, his track record has been shit as of late. He had Eddie Murphy. Eddie Murphy is like fucking. I think it was like on 2011. He had he was the most overpaid actor, and they put that like in that top 5 was also Adam Sandler, because they look at how much you got paid and then how much the movie made compared to how much it cost.
Right.
And like, man, it is ridiculous. And it's that thing like at a certain point, we would do anything to have you on our fucking label or in our fucking production company, whatever the case is, just to have your name on that poster, because we knew you were going to drive sales, and we signed whatever contract for however long.
Right.
And now that they're on the fucking down end of that shit, and people like Eddie Murphy does not sell tickets anywhere close to fucking 48 hours? Eddie Murphy sold tickets or Raw or whatever. Like, that's not going to happen anymore.
His stand-up used to be so edgy, and then you like see him making Daddy Daycare. And
that wasn't that bad of a movie though compared to the other shit he has dropped.
Yeah.
Daddy Daycare is an Oscar-worthy fucking film compared
That's
to.
sad.
What was that stupid fucking Dave or some shit? Where they're inside of a fucking robot version of him or some other stupid fucking movie that he did. That stupid tree thing with the lies and some other crap.
It's like it makes you happy that like Kurt Cobain or like Jimi Hendrix died early. You see him didn't you have these stars that like they didn't fizzle out and sell out, like because like Eddie Murphy, his old stand-up used to be like edgy and raw as shit. Like that was some good stuff, and then
in
you
my
see him
opinion, Raw's the best
deteriorate.
stand-up ever, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean the shit he was saying too, man. Like you obviously cannot get away with the shit he was saying back in Raw, but
The guy, I guess, wrote in his own little commentary, the hacker or whatnot, saying about all these like issues and problems there, like that are so obvious that why the fuck aren't you guys doing something about this? And it just kept coming back to Adam Sandler, and fuck man, I loved all of that. That guy was a fucking comedic guy when I was a kid. Like I loved Adam Sandler movies. Like I really did. My dad liked the fuck out of him. He did enough to make us laugh, even though we didn't know what really he was talking about. He'd just make funny ass noises, and he had that weird ass nose and shit. And then my dad would obviously get it, and my dad loved Adam Sandler. My dad thought he was fucking hilarious. So it worked out on a lot of levels. But somewhere along the lines, he lost that balance, I think, or maybe he cranked out too much. Maybe he gave up all he had. Like I don't know what it is.
I think it's a mix of. I don't necessarily know if he lost. I think even he tried to like grow his comedy style and be a little more deeper with his movies. But like the audience as well, like the movie audience of today is the most sophisticated it's ever been, and a lot of that kind of boorish, high school type humor does not really translate anymore. People don't want to see that shit anymore, at least not from him.
Everybody my age pees their pants. It's the coolest.
Really?
Yes! You ain't cool unless you pee your pants.
At the end of the day, we should applaud him, even for having Billy Madison and Happy Gilmore. Like, you look at Seinfeld. Seinfeld had pretty much one thing.
Seinfeld, that's all he fucking had.
Bank off of that. And, like, no matter what, people strive just to get that one hit. Adam Sandler got a couple.
No, he had a lot
and
of
Happy
good
Madison. Happy Madison had a lot of great, like Grandma's Boy is one of the fucking funniest films I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah. Anyhow, man, that's all we have for today. Thank you for streaming, downloading, viewing, whatever way you fucking looked at this, listened to this, heard this, whatever the case is. I want to thank our special guest.
Thanks for having me, guys.
Anytime, you will eventually be our resident white man.
In-house white guy.
Check out our website, check out our SoundCloud, check out our iTunes. Until next week, peace.
Later, y'all.